2:30, we're going to start the clock.
Hello, Senator Rector, Representative Prescott, and members of the committee. My name is Shelly Mountain. I'm from Mapleton in the much maligned Aroostook County. My grandfather worked in the woods with horses. My father hauled pulpwood. My husband owns a log truck, and my son would like to, and I would really like him to have the opportunity to do that. I'm here to testify in opposition to this bill that would make it easier to hire foreign labor. I'll be 50 years old this fall, and the Canadian labor issue has existed all of my life. As a little girl, I remember men parking their trucks across Route 11 in an effort to get attention from Augusta. Senator Jackson has worked hard to find solutions to the problem. Now this legislature appears determined to not only reverse any progress he has made, but also to blame the hard-working loggers for their own demise. The arguments I have heard against Maine loggers are varied and vague. When I asked two Aroostook County representatives why they voted against Maine loggers, they told me that no one came here to speak in their favor. To the extent that some truth exists in that, it is because they fear reprisals that will worsen their already bad situation. In asking people to come down here today, I was told that they would like to, that they are frustrated that their own equipment sits idle while Canadians are working, but that they couldn't testify because they want to keep their jobs they do have. I understand that, and in fact, share that fear myself. I worry that my testimony may threaten my own family's livelihood. Representative Peter Rio has argued that Canadian labor should be favored because, I'm sure you've all heard this quote, they are more productive, they show up for work, they work harder, they complain less. I've invited Representative Rio to spend a day working with my husband to understand how productive and hardworking he is. I invite any of you to do the same. But you had better get to bed early the night before because his day starts at 1 in the morning. And you had better be prepared for an overnight because he often sleeps in his truck. I should add that he does this all without complaint. He loves his job. He loves being in these remote, uncivilized roads. Sorry. Representative Crockett is quoted in the Bangor Daily News as saying, the reality is bonded labor keeps the price of wood down. It keeps mills open and it keeps a market for people like my dad who sell wood. It is not the purpose of the legislature to manipulate the price of wood, and doing so is a violation of federal trade law and the bonded labor program. Bonded labor has been used in northern Maine for a long time, and it has not prevented the closing of mills there. Rather, it has accelerated it. In the BDN, Senator Trahan has dismissed Senator Jackson's efforts as just an issue for loggers in his district. But for everyone else in the state, it could create a serious disadvantage. I've left messages for Senator Trahan asking him to explain how hiring Maine labor creates any kind of disadvantage, but he has never gotten back to me. I assume he is also talking about keeping the price of wood down. The wood that is harvested and trucked by Canadian labor is for the most part not going to Maine mills. On this map, if they had put the Canadian mill, it'd be peppered up here. The wood then comes back as a cheap subsidized finished product that undercuts our industries and puts even more Mainers out of work. The bonded labor program is only supposed to be accessed when domestic labor is unavailable. There are many Maine loggers whose equipment sits idle while foreign labor is doing the job, and they are defaulting on loans for that equipment. No matter how some try to construe it, Maine's economy and certainly Maine's workers do not benefit from the hiring of Canadian labor. I urge you to do the right thing and support Maine loggers by voting against this bill. It is wrong to make it easier to hire foreign labor that takes jobs away from hardworking, productive Maine loggers. There's a couple of things that have been said I'd like to respond to, too. American Loggers is a very entertaining show, but it is not a documentary of what a logger's life is like at all. A lot of it is produced to make good TV. It is not what my husband's life is like, and that's why it's entertaining, actually, when we watch it. And my son told me when I was talking to him about this, that on the first season, they used Canadian labor. And in terms of what this man said about French speaking, I don't do it, but my husband does, and a lot of these people on this side talk French. So when we're worried, when he talked about that, I don't think he was being disparaging to French people at all, of French heritage. And then, about this map, which I can't see, I wish I could.
You're welcome to step right around here if you want.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
We just, well,
but I just, well, actually I do want to look at it.
you can turn the mic around if you want. If that would help you, you can, or you've got one right in front of you. There you are.
But these roads, I think their implication, what they're trying to imply is that they're just so out there that nobody wants to go there. On Mother's Day, that's where I'm going to be. We go there on the weekends for fun. And that is why my husband loves his job. Okay, now I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Mountain. Mapleton is where that wonderful potato chip place is, isn't it? Right,
the Fox potato?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Fox is one of my son's teachers.
There you
I'll
are.
have to tell her that he says.
Oh, I've been to Mapleton and I've had those potato chips. There's something I look forward to whenever I can get them. Questions of the committee. Representative Dow, Representative Winkle, Representative Gilbert.
Thank you. I am familiar with the area. I've been going in through that area since I was young. Is your husband, does he still work?
Yes.
Okay. What I need to find out is how far into the woods most of the main workers go. I'm used to seeing, I don't see as many as I used to when I was young going in, and I'm used to going in around the Churchill area. I've only been in through Clayton Lake to the west of Churchill once, so I don't know much about the woods that way. But I do know the traffic and stuff from Churchill out to Ashland. And I'm just wondering where most of the main workers work, because I know the history, and the old history was that you couldn't get there from the main side way back.
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
I'm just wondering how far our main workers go into
My husband goes to St. Bonfield.
Oh, he does go
Yes.
all the way in?
Yes.
He has...
And he's perfectly willing to do it. And I know there's a lot of people here who are.
Is he a trucker, or does
He owns a log truck, self-loader.
And so some of the workers, they're going to come up and tell me that they're cutters, and I just want to find out where it is they work, and compared to where they used to work. Maybe the area that they work has changed over the decades. I don't know. I just don't see as many. I don't see as many trucks coming out now as I used to.
Are you there on the weekend? Because that may be why you don't see them.
Well, they used to come out on Fridays, and they used to come out of the woods on Thursdays. I used to see a lot more log trucks coming out in the old days, back when all the bridges had Ponte Trois on them, and that was a long time ago. But I'm just trying to find out what's happened to the main workers up there.
I think Canadians are doing it.
Representative Winkle, you've got a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your testimony, you mentioned the 1 a.m., and I know I don't have the stamina to do that, but can you arrange for me to get up there if I had the courage to do it before the black flies arrive?
Yes.
Representative Gilbert, you've got a question.
You asked that I don't know if it was a question, but my comments were not disparaging.
No, I agree.
Mon nom c'est Paul Vidal, and my father came from Beauceville in Quebec. In 1917-18, he worked in St. Martin. He worked in Jatman, where they walked to work more. Where they left their town. He left his town in Beauceville and would walk to Jatman, which is about 60 miles, and they didn't truck the wood out, they went by horse and wagon. And my father-in-law is Georges Poulet from St. Evariste.
I hope there's a question.
Yes, and he was a cookie in the logging camps in the Rangeley area.
I have an aunt who currently cooks in logging camps. When my oldest brother was born, my mother and father lived in logging camps. And that was cloth diapers, no washing machine or anything. So, and I say that because some people have said that people aren't willing to stay in the camps. My husband has a sleeper on his truck, so he doesn't have to stay in the camps, but he eats in them a lot, and he really likes that.
So my question is, do you think my comments were disparaging?
No, I don't. And
Thank you
I
very
also
much.
want to say, I'm not anti-Canadian. I have relatives in Canada on both sides of my family. My ancestors came from England through New Brunswick to Maine.
Representative Hunt, you've got a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's sort of two questions at once. Hopefully you'll answer them both. Is your husband working to capacity? Could he work more?
No, my husband is working to capacity.
Okay.
But he has relatives that aren't.
Representative Volk.
Sort of along those same lines, thanks for coming. So how can you explain your husband's success? What is he doing differently, or, I mean, is it just luck, or do you own land and he's cutting on his own land, or why is he still employed when so many other people aren't?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that, except that I have heard recently, I think that who he hauls for does not hire quality labor.
Any other questions? Representative Wintle, another question?
Just to follow up, Mr. Chair, how come you guys could use cloth diapers?
This was 55 years ago.
Representative Gilbert, you've got a question.
Yes, I do. A serious one now. I don't know the area of up around New Brunswick and on the Crown of Maine across the border. I do know that when you go up Route 201 from Jotman into Armstrong in Quebec, or going up Route 27 and you cross the border at Coven Gore and you get into Woburn, there are several mills, wood mills, that are operating 7 days a week over there. And my question is this happening in your part of the state? Across the border in Canada?
No. And as a matter of fact, you'll notice that most of the mills are south of Bangor. And even the Borlaug's mill, I guess, is closing now. So that leaves Fraser, Huber, Mainwood up there.
But on the other side of the border, are there mills?
Oh, in Canada, there's all kinds. Yeah.
And they're being fed with Maine wood?
Yes, that's right. That is the point. Most of this wood is going to Canada. It's not going to the mills in Maine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Dow?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're running out.
I know there's a lot of mills there, but nobody's ever told me what kind of mills. Are they paper mills, or are they lumberyard mills? The saw mills? Are they
Somebody-
both?
Lumber.
Lumber?
Sawmill.
Thank you.
Someone might address that question when they come up. Thank you, Ms. Mountain. Another opponent?